Hello everybody, this is General Hand Grenade here. Welcome to my war room in Prince George, British Columbia. Today in the next part of my strategy series, we are going to do the United States of America. For the purposes of this game, or this strategy video, we're going to assume that the guys that you're looking at there, that big ominous cloud of burnt orange, is going to do a J1 attack. J1 attack seems to be the one thing that is stumping the allies across the world right now, and how to stop that. And I don't know that I can either, but I'm going to give it my best shot. I'm going to show you what I would do to stop the orange horde here from taking over the world. So let's get into it, shall we? Let's start in the Pacific here. Uh, the Americans in the Pacific, they start with the Philippine Islands. Now, if Japan does a J1 attack, then it's likely that you're going to lose all of these units here. And if that's the case, then that's what we're expecting anyway. But if you don't, then what I would do with those units, not the infantry units, but the fighter and the two boats, take them down to Australia there and put them in Australia. And from Australia, you can either move them up to Hawaii, or it would take the Anzac a lot, 2 turns to build up enough money for a fighter and a sub and a destroyer. So you could leave them down here in C Zone 54 and the fighter on Queensland, because there's an air base there. That would be good too. But I'm assuming after a J1 attack that you are not going to have those units left. So let's just forget about those guys. But if you do have them, that's what you do. Over here, now, in order for J1 to do anything, really, what you need to do on the Pacific side of the board, what Japan needs to do, is take out 6 victory cities. So let's just take a look. They're going to get 4 of them easily. They already have Tokyo, and they have Shanghai. And then it will be easy for them to get Hong Kong right here. And we talked about the Philippines. There's Manila right there. These red things here, they are representing the victory cities. Now after that, it gets a lot more difficult. Now that you've got over here in India, you've got Calcutta. Now we're planning on building a wall over here in India, but you'll see that in the next video. The next video will be the UK, and you'll see what I plan to do there. But suffice it to say, it's not going to be easy for Japan to take that city there. And you've got Anzac. Now Anzac, you can give them a little bit of help as the Americans go, but you're hoping that they can hold that by themselves so that you can concentrate on holding Honolulu. Because here's another one here, Honolulu. You know what, I'm going to close the window here, the blinds on the window. Give ourselves a bit better lighting. There we go. So, as the American player, all you really need to do to stop Japan from winning the game is hold Honolulu. And the way you hold Honolulu is with boats, yes, but not just boats. It'd be easier just to buy a whole lot of infantry and put them there, because Japan, they suffer from the same problem that the Americans have when it comes to crossing the Pacific, in that it takes you away from your supply. You have to go all the way back and get more units to bring them across. And if you lose your boats while you're there, well, you're a long ways from getting new boats over there too. So that's what you need to do in Honolulu, is you need to build up your infantry supply, because the last city is over here in San Francisco, and I seriously doubt they will ever get this city here. So Honolulu is the one they want. Now Japan is going to, after they take their first 4 cities there, the easy ones, they're going to need to take 2. Calcutta is the most likely, but then it's either going to be Honolulu or Sydney, and you're going to have to assume that Australia can hold Sydney. You've got to hold Honolulu. And how do you do that though? Do you put all your money into this side of the board? Is that what you do? Because that's the conventional wisdom really is building a huge fleet over there But I'm going to tell you that's not what I'm going to do. That's not the tactic that I'm going to take. Because when you look at the game, really, if the Allies are going to win the game, see, I mean, we're talking about defense here, and that's fine. But if the Allies are ever going to win the game, this is what you need to do. You need to get onto the continent of Eurasia, the dual continent. There's Europe and Asia, and you can add Africa into that as well. But this is where the game is won or lost, is right here. Over there, up in America there, down here in Australia, over here in South America, and up in North America up there, that's the periphery. This is where the game is won and lost, right in here. Now boats are a lot of fun to play with, and as the American, you're going to build lots of boats. But boats alone will not win you the game. Like for one thing, the sea zones here, they're not worth anything. There's no victory cities that are in sea zones, and they're not worth any IPCs. The IPCs are all on the land. So every dollar that you gain is a dollar that your opponent loses, and vice versa. And that's where all the victory cities are, is on the land. So that's what you need to concentrate on. You need to get over the fun that you're having buying boats and attacking boats and getting attacked by boats. Like you need to do so. You need to do those things, but that's not how you're going to win or lose the game. Winning or losing the game, like I said, happens over here. Have I hammered that home enough? Good. So how do you win the game as the American player? Well, you have to work in concert with the British player. I've always been a better Allied player than an Axis player, and it doesn't matter which version of Axis and Allies I played. For some reason, I've just always been a better Allied player, and I've had a lot of success with it. In this game, Global 40, the first three players that go, that's Germany, Russia, and Japan. I mean, that's when they kick asses in the first three turns at the start of the turn order. It's in the middle where America and Great Britain take their turn. That's where you need to turn the tide every single round. And so you'll see in the next video what I plan on doing with the UK player, like I mentioned earlier. But you need to, both of you working together, not necessarily in the same territories, but towards the same objective. You need to divvy up the work, and that's what we're going to do. So for America, let's move away from the Pacific now. For America, you need to find a way to get on the continent of Eurasia. You need, and to be on there consistently. You need to find a way to get your troops on there every single turn. Boots on the ground, tanks, artillery, infantry. You need to find a way to get there every single turn, and you need to do it consistently. It would be nice if you could just buy a major complex and put it somewhere on there, but you can't. The rules will not allow you to ever put a major complex on that dual continent, because none of those territories are your originally controlled territories. You would need probably 3 or 4 minor complexes, and it's not very cost effective for you to buy that many of them. So you're going to try to take a couple of them. You're going to try to take some French ones there, maybe even some Italian ones later in the game. But that's your path to victory in this game. If you cannot get onto the continent of Eurasia, boots on the ground every single turn, I guarantee you the Allies will lose this game. You might not win the game with this strategy that I'm going to show you, but I can guarantee you that you will lose the game if you don't make it onto that continent every single turn. So what do we need to do? We need to build a floating bridge. Obviously, the ocean is too big to build a fixed link, to build a regular bridge. So we need to build a floating bridge, and we're going to make this floating bridge 4 lanes to begin with, and later on we can expand it to 5 or 6 lanes. So how do you build a 4-lane floating bridge? Well, let's just take a look. This is your 4-lane floating bridge right here. Turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, turn 4, and turn 5. Now, these are the purchases that I've gone ahead and I've set them up to begin with, just to move this video along faster, so that I'm not sitting there thinking, what should I buy now? What should I buy now? So this is not set in stone. And as the American player, or as any player for that matter, I'll give you another look here. You need to be able to adapt to what's going on in the game, because like if Japan comes after you over in the Pacific, or if it looks like they're going to take out Anzac in the Pacific, and you're going to need to go down there, then you're going to need to change this strategy on the fly. So this is what you're hoping to do, is buy something like this, and all of this can be changed as well. What can't be changed is the fact that you're buying transports. There's 2 transports here, there's 1 transport here, there's 4 transports here, there's 4 transports here. Those transports and all of these ground units, those are what you're going to need to get over onto the continent of Eurasia, and that's your floating bridge right there. So let's start. Now, so even though J1, Japan is going to be kicking ass over in the Pacific there, that's fine. Let them kick ass. Let them think that they're doing, let them just go wild on the Chinese, and they're going to be assaulting the British in India. The British strategy I'm going to show you will let you hang on there for the longest time. They might even go after Russia, and believe it or not, that's a good thing for us, because that's going to take considerable resources. The German players should be able to take out Russia, but by themselves. But if Japan starts going after them too, then that's just resources they didn't need to spend, as far as I'm concerned. The other thing that might thwart our strategy with these purchases like I've made here would be if Germany was going for a sea line attack. But the British player is going to have to take steps to make sure that there's no sea line attack, or that they're doing everything they can to prevent the Germans from even attempting that move. So let's assume that they have been able to thwart the sea lion attack, and that there is a J1 attack, and then for the first 4 or 5 turns, the Germans are going after the Russians, and that's a fairly normal game. So first turn purchases. This is what we're going to purchase, and we're going to concentrate mostly in Europe, because this is the shortest route to the continent of Eurasia. You can build a 4-lane highway. By 4 lanes, I mean 4 transports, and on those 4 transports, you can bring 8 ground units. But we're going to do it patiently. We're not going to race over there, even though your teammates are going to be, come on, you got all the money, get over here. Don't go too fast. This is a long game, and if the Allies are going to win this game, they're going to have to make it a long game. There's no magic bullet, no building fast, no doing some quick move that's going to somehow win you the game. Unless you're playing against somebody that's, really drunk, or smoked crack for breakfast or something, and left Germany wide open for you. There's no quick fix in this game. So let's just move in a little bit closer here. Okay, so first turn, this is what we're going to buy. There's not a lot of non-combat moves, so we'll just put these here. The non-combat moves that you're going to do. Now you see that there's 4 aircraft carriers there. 2 aircraft carriers, and the reason I bought 2 to begin with, and a battleship. For one thing, you need a battleship on this side of the board, on the European side in the Atlantic. And then we're going to put a carrier on each side, 1 in the Pacific and 1 in the Atlantic, and you just happen to have 4 extra fighters already on the board. So you have 1 here. Okay, so we're going to move that one out. Let's just move these things up while we're over here, and we're going to move the bomber up. Okay, then let's move to the other side of the board. We might as well take our aircraft carrier with us, the one that we bought. Okay, so on this side of the board, this side of the board is very important for you, even though you're doing most of your moves on the other side of the board. So this side here, we're going to move up everything we can to Honolulu. And you see this transport here? Very important that you use this transport every single turn. There's a transport here as well. So we're going to do a transport shuck. That transport's going to come down here, and all the boats are coming down. Now you're going to bring 2 units. So let's just bring an infantry and an infantry artillery. Bring them in here, and then you're going to take the 2 fighters off, and you're going to put them in the C zone up here outside of San Francisco. And then the fighter that we got here, we're just going to take this fighter with us over to the east there. But before we do, we'll just, while we're over here, we'll just put this on here. So this side of the board is finished. Okay, we've got our fighter. Let's move down to the other side. Okay, that fighter is going to land in the C zone where this fighter has landed. Another non-combat movement is we are in the war, so not like until you're in the war, you have to leave these boats against either this C zone or this C zone, or they could go to the other side of the board too, like they could go through the canal into the other side of the board. But they're not allowed to move away from these C zones here. But you are at war because there was a J1 attacking you. These aren't on yet. So you're going to take this transport and this cruiser down to Brazil, and let's bring a tank with us. Now, this is important. We want to do all of them. I've got to remember to do all of these things. So we're going to take that down to Brazil, and we are going to take out Brazil. That gives us an extra 2 IPCs, and that's the 2 IPCs that we lost when the Philippines was taken out. So now we're up to 72 IPCs. We started with 52, that's our starting, but now we're up to 72 if we take out Brazil. If we don't take it, then we're back down to 70. So that's the way it sits now. Everybody, it's not too difficult, it's not too complicated. You just remember to shuck your troops down to Honolulu. And now, oh, that's one thing I did forget to do. See, gotta remember everything. That one transport came down, the other transport has to come back. There we go. That's what I wanted to do. Gotta remember to do that every single time. You have 2 transports over there, you want them going back and forth like that. Okay, so then we put our stuff on. So we're allowed to put those into the Z zone, these fighters, as long as we're putting an aircraft carrier on there, and that's what we're doing now. There we go. Oh, let's put this guy on. Okay, so that's turn 1 in the books. Now, turn 2. Let's just keep that up there. Now remember, we're going to concentrate on this side of the board. You don't really have any non-combat moves. One thing you can do is fly this plane up to Great Britain, up to the UK. Here, I'll show you where that is. There, we put that plane up there. And we can start using him on the next turn. If Germany leaves us open to take complexes where there's no fighters, we don't want to go anywhere with it where an escort could get us, or an interceptor, because we're not getting escorts up there just yet. So then we put our stuff on. Well, we did our transport chuck, remember, on the other side of the board there. And we're putting on another battleship. So now we have 2 battleships, 2 aircraft carriers. There's another fighter. Two transports. And then we bought 2 subs as well. Now you don't want to forget about the other side of the board. Okay, so we're shucking these guys down to here. And bringing the other transport back up. And we're putting our two subs on. Oh, we can bring this down too, can't we? So we've already got a formidable force here in Hawaii. That's going to prevent them. And another thing that we wanted to do, and we probably could have done it on the first turn, was put that destroyer into C Zone 25. The reason C Zone 25 is because then we could see the Japanese coming. It's going to take them an extra turn. When you look at here, they have to come through here. If they start in C Zone 6 where Japan is, they have to come through here because they can only go 3 spaces. If you put it here, then they can come through. If you put it here, there's no way they can get around you. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It takes them too far. So one way or another, if you put a blocker in here, then it's going to take them one extra space to get to you in Honolulu, and then you can see them coming, and then you can change your purchases over there rather than putting boats and stuff in the Atlantic. You're putting everything for your entire 72 IPC income into Pacific. That's what that blocker does for you. So that's what it looks like over here now. What we can do as well, we'll bring down one of those anti-aircraft gun and put that in Honolulu. Let's just take this fighter, we're going to need it later, since he's already dead anyway. Okay, so that's turn 2 in the books. And we collect another 72 IPCs. So, turn 3. Much the same. This time we have no moves. We're going to put, again, aircraft carrier. We bought another fighter. Oh, I guess I could move this up and let you see too, right? We bought an aircraft carrier here. We put another fighter on. We're putting another transport on. One move we could do is we could take one of these transports down and put it in Brazil, because you've got 4 units down there now. It doesn't matter if we do it this turn or next turn. Because we're not planning on going yet. And we're going to put another bomber on, because part of our strategy when we're going over to Europe is to bomb the hell out of them too. And then we bought 2 infantry units this turn, and we're going to try to buy 2 infantry units every turn. We're either going to put boats or 2 infantry or both on over here, but we're going to do it slowly. We're not going to be able to go very fast over here. So we didn't buy any infantry last time, because it doesn't matter. Like, we've got enough here. So now we're going to sail these boats down here on this turn, and we're going to put the 2 infantry on. So we're just going to keep doing that. So now turn 4. Turn 4, we can start making a decision here. Now, I can't tell you sitting here like this whether or not you should go to C-Zone 91 in Gibraltar, because I don't know what has happened in the game. I'm just showing you what to purchase for the first few turns in America right now. It depends on, is there a German Navy? What is the strength of the German Luftwaffe? Where are they situated? If they're at a place where they can come to C-Zone 91 and attack you, then by all means just leave your boats where they are. Wait one more turn, you're going to have more boats. But likely you will be able to go to C-Zone 91. And one of the things that you can do on this turn, on the 4th turn, when you come over here, let's take these out of here, because these won't be here. So you move everybody down. And this will take a minute, just give me some time here. So you're moving them all down, and you got your 2 battleships, and you've got 4 transports. So from America, you still have 2 infantry units, and we're going to go to Morocco with everybody. 2 infantry units, an artillery unit, and a mechanized infantry. And then you have your boats from down in Brazil here. So you're going to bring them up as well. And you got your 2 transports. And you're going to bring your tank. And you're going to bring your 3 infantry units. Okay, so that's the way it looks right now. Now on the UK's turn, one thing that you can do is if they have the money, and if they don't, it's not absolutely imperative that they do this, but if they have the money, have them buy an air base and put that in Gibraltar, because then you can land fighters in Gibraltar, and that will help to protect the Navy where it is, because that Navy's not going to be sitting there, but that's going to be an important, let's call it a way station for us. That's the midway point to where we're going. And so we're going to have fewer boats there to protect 4 transports that are sitting there. So it's good if we can put a air base there, and we can put some fighters on there. Now another thing that we can do, let's take this bomber here and fly that up to Great Britain as well. So we've got 2 bombers in Great Britain. By the way, these complexes are now major complexes. I haven't bothered changing them, but those should be black. Let's just do that now. The U.S. Capitol building. So the black means that they're major complexes. And that would have happened on the first turn. Sorry, I forgot to do that. So that's the way it looks. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to put our stuff on. And this is the next link in our bridge. 4 more transports. Now you see we still have 2 mechanized units there. What you want to do when you buy in 4 transports and having a 4 transport shuck is you need to buy 4 infantry every single turn and 4 other things. And it could be more than 4 infantry. Like it could be infantry, it could be artillery, it could be tanks, or it could be mechanized units. Usually what I try to do excuse me. Usually what I try to do is count up, okay, like I try to bring tanks, but then, okay, I'm going to need this kind of boat, so I'm going to need $2 more, so I'm going to use an artillery instead of a tank, and just work my way back that way. You start with 8 things and see which 8 things you can afford and still buy the boats that you want. Now, one thing we don't have yet is we don't have a destroyer, and you want a destroyer, at least one of them in every Navy. And we're going to buy a fighter. Like I said, we were going to put that air base on, but there's more to it than that. Like we can eventually get that fighter up to the UK so that he can help out with the strategic bombing raids. And the last thing we have is the 2 infantry units. And remember what we're doing over there. So, transport shuck, bringing the 2 units down on the transport and bringing the transport back up, putting 2 more infantry units on Hawaii, or sorry, on San Francisco, just like that. And remember, we're keeping an eye on this side of the board. We want to make sure on every turn, we want to make sure that Japan is not about to take out Australia, because we can bring these boats down to Australia if we have to. Or if Japan is coming across the water, as long as Japan is staying over there and kicking everybody else's ass, just stay where you are in Honolulu there. They can't win the game if they can't take out Honolulu or Australia. Just remember that. Regardless of how much money they're collecting every turn, they cannot win the game without doing that. As long as we prevent the Germans from winning the game. So then, next turn, this is where it starts to get interesting. Now again, we're going to have to evaluate, is there a German Navy? Is there a Luftwaffe? That's a German Air Force. What's happening in the Mediterranean? Now I'm assuming that the Mediterranean is going to be absolutely empty by this point. If the British player is doing their job, there should be no boats in the Mediterranean whatsoever. But you have a bunch of options when you're sitting there, because that's a naval base. You can go all the way up to Norway if you want, if there's no German Navy. If there is a German Navy, even any boats at all, I wouldn't do that, because that means the Germans could then use their Navy and their Air Force and reach all of your boats easy. And if I'm the German player, even if it's going to kill every plane I got, if I can take off those 4 transports, I will do it. Because you've seen how long it takes to build a Navy for the Americans. That's 4 turns worth of purchases so far. It's going to take you another 3-4 turns before you can make it back there. And by then, the Axis have won the game. If you can't get the American boots on the ground, then they're going to win the game. If you can't start doing it by about turn 4 or 5 like we are in right now. So that's one choice. You can sit out here. This is another thing that you can do. You can bring your boats to here, and then you can buy British boats, British transports. So British and American keep attacking Normandy, or they can attack Belgium. That's another thing that you can do. But again, if Germany has a navy, I wouldn't do that, because when you're down here, you're further away from the Air Force. So you're protected from the Air Force. So they can reach you with bombers right here, but they can't reach you with fighters. But up there, they can reach you with everything. And if you make your way into the Mediterranean, where I'm going to show you to go, then they can reach you with fighters and aircraft, but they can't reach you with their navy. So you want to be able to isolate them so that you're fighting either the Air Force or the Navy if they decide to come after you. But if you go up north there, then they can come after you with everything. So what we're going to do now is we're going to complete our floating bridge. And you know what? Let's, what the hell, let's just put everybody in there. So we're going to assume that southern France is owned by either the Italians or the Germans by now. And let's cash in these 2 transports for chips here. And I'm very specific in where you attack from here. And I'll show you why after I get everybody moved. Let's just put them on first. We've got your 2 battleships. And you've got your cruiser. Now we're going to leave this one out here. We're going to leave that aircraft carrier in Sea Zone 91. Now all of the land units that we have here, they're going into southern France. Let's just put them here. So you've got 2 battleships that you can make landing, and a cruiser to make landing shots with if they happen to have 3 units there. So you should be able to do some kind of damage. Now the other thing, okay, that's your attack moves. Now whether you probably will be able to take it out, it depends on what's there. The reason you went there though, there's the other place you could have gone is you could have gone straight after Italy. But there's one reason and one reason alone why you went to Sea Zone 93, and that is because it takes you 4 less transports to build a bridge there. And I'll show you why. You see Morocco here. Morocco borders Sea Zone 91 and Sea Zone 92, both of them. So you bring your transports to Sea Zone 91 on the first turn, you take them to Sea Zone 93. Now the next set of transports come up to Sea Zone 91. Let's assume this attack is done now. And you're bringing up 8 more guys, 8 more units onto Morocco. And we're bringing up the fighter to help protect Sea Zone 91. And let's just put put our stuff on from our next purchase here. I put on those 4 infantry, 4 transports, 4 artillery, and another fighter. So at this point, what's happening here is you've got 4 aircraft here plus 8 land units that they can attack southern France with on the first turn that you move over there. You've got 2 bombers that can make strategic bombing raids against France. They can go against Normandy. It depends on where there's no fighters because you don't have any cover support just yet. And the British are going to be able to help out with this as well. They can put a strategic bomber, and they've got fighters up there. If they bring a strategic bomber or 2, if they can afford it. But they're going to concentrate most of their money down in the south there. You'll see that in the next video. Okay, so this is why you're going to southern France. Now, pay attention, because this is the best part of the story here. These 2 boats here, this is the only place on the board that you can do this. They will come here, Sea Zone 93 to 92, then they will go back with these 8 units. These transports here
will shuck with these transports. These 4 back, these 4 forward, along with 8 dudes. Now at this point in the game, all you need to buy is 8 land units in the Atlantic. That's it. It took you 5 turns to set that up. Now you buy 8 land units. You got another plane coming down. Now you can fly these planes up to Great Britain as well, because you have this aircraft carrier here. You've got a destroyer and an aircraft carrier here. You can add boats to this if you want. And we just, with that last turn, we also bought 2 infantry units. Again, we shuck, bring these units down, bring these units back. Okay, so let's take a look at what we have in the Pacific now. You've seen the 4-lane highway that we built in the Atlantic. Now you take a look at the boats that we have there. What we can do now, all we need to do is buy 8 ground units to put on the Atlantic side. We can now concentrate on the Pacific side. Excuse me, with the Americans. So now you're spending more money over here. And what I like to do is I like to get to the point where I can split my Navy in half. So you probably want 3 or 4 battleships, 3 or 4 aircraft carriers before you start this, and probably 3 transports. And then what I do is I'll take that Navy there, about half of that Navy, and I will bring it down to the Miney Islands or down to Australia. And then they'll work together with the Australians to take away the money down here and hopefully draw some of the Japanese Navy down, and they'll fight the Japanese Navy. And with that half a Navy, like we're looking at almost that many boats there is what you're going to be bringing down. You're going to be able to take another turn or 2 before you can do that. You're going to bring all of those down, and you're going to start taking money with 3 transports and 6 units, and you're going to continue to shuck. You're going to continue to shuck units to Honolulu, because like I said, as long as you can hold Honolulu, you can win this game. You will lose the game if you lose Honolulu, probably. So that's what I do with the Americans. I build my floating bridge first, and then I start building in the Pacific. But really, I can't tell you exactly what to do at this point, because I don't know, again, like I said earlier, I don't know what's happened in the game. I don't know what the strength of the Japanese are. I don't know if they've taken Calcutta or not yet. I don't know if they attacked Russia. A lot of it depends on what they're doing. And it's probably this guy here, look at him. He's just crawling around out in the island down there. He's making plans. he's gonna crawl all the way to Hawaii if he can. I don't know. But this guy here, he's going to throw a grenade at Japan, and that'll probably end the game. Anyway, that's not what's going to happen. But you kind of get my general drift, though. The Americans, they need to build that bridge to Eurasia. They will lose the game. The Allies will lose the game if they cannot build a bridge, if they cannot put units on. And here, this is the way you do it. And this is the quickest way to do it, is by doing that. So I showed you there, you're going to build some boats up now in the Pacific. And then when you get around turn 7 or 8, then you're going to move back to the Atlantic and the Pacific. You're going to do a little bit of both. So you can create 5 transport shuck now. All you need to do is buy 1 extra transport here and 10 dudes or 10 ground units. And then the next turn, buy 1 more transport. And then the next turn, buy 1 more transport. So now you've got 5 transports on each space, and you're moving 10 units over instead of 4 or instead of 8. Or you can buy 2 more transports. It just depends on how much money you have, where the needs are. You can buy more bombers, you can buy more fighters, continue the air attack, and then with the UK, in concert with the UK should have some boats left down in here. They're going to be playing the game down here the way I'm going to show you how to play it. And they should have some boats and transports that on one turn, when the time is right, both of you can attack Italy at the same time. And like one will attack and then the other will attack, Britain will attack right afterwards. And you should be able to take out Rome by doing that. But you're going to try to wear down the Germans first. You're going to try to do it to try to take the money and the territory and force them to create the Western Front and force them to put units over there so that you can hopefully keep Russia into the game. Hopefully Russia survives that long, and with Germany pulling back their resources, hopefully you can even the war over there and it becomes a war of attrition, and the Americans continue and the British continue to wear the Germans down. This is who you're going to defeat, the Germans. J1, Japan's going to be strong. This is who you're going to defeat, because for them to win the game, they have to take Egypt. I'm going to tell you right now, they might be able to take Egypt off me, but they're never going to keep it. Not the way I'm going to play with the British player. As long as there's no sea lion attack, and you're going to do everything you can do in the beginning of the game to prevent it as a British player. But you're going to have all game long, as long as you protect Honolulu, Sydney, and Egypt. You're going to just keep wearing them down and wearing them down and wearing them down, and using that floating bridge with the Americans, and eventually you're going to win the game. Maybe. Fingers crossed. I don't know if this is going to work. It's worked for me a number of times, but again, like I haven't played against the Japanese and the German player that you've played against, so I don't know if it's going to work for you, but I can tell you it works for me using this strategy with the Americans, and I'll show you when I get the British video made what they're going to do to help out there. So, get on to Eurasia. Put your boots on the ground. You can do it. Take care, everyone. General Hand Grenade out.